And now it's time for Photo Booth Live Chat with John Young. Good evening and welcome to tonight's show here on PBN TV. I'm John Young, your host, and tonight we are going to be looking ahead at Photo Booth Expo 2020. And my guest tonight is Justin Jowett. Good evening, Justin.
G'day, how are we doing? It's only lunchtime here in Australia, so I'll say g'day, which covers all periods of time.
There we go, we'll go that way. So yes, this is Lunch with Justin today, coming to you. Yeah, you're probably not having a peanut butter sandwich I had for lunch today, but that's another story. When you're working, we're in that crunch time right now. For those of you who aren't, maybe have been hiding under a rock, Photo Booth Expo is coming up here in a couple of weeks. 2 weeks from now, Justin and I are going to be in Las Vegas, probably dead tired by, let's see, this will be 6 o'clock Vegas time. Yeah, we're going to be dead tired Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
If we're not, something's gone wrong.
That's very, very true. Because yes, we will have had Monday, and you can go to photoboothexpo.com to check this out. Monday educational content, Tuesday educational content, and then the expo, the exhibit hall opens. Wednesday educational content, and the expo. Just a lot of things going to be going on in those first 3 days, and then of course we have Thursday also. It's going to be busy.
It's a very busy time, but it's so exciting. I can't wait to get back there for my 4th time. It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. We enjoy just going to Vegas, especially from Minnesota, where it's now like 20 below outside right now. Yay. So for us, it's like a little vacation that way also. But then to go down and see the excitement. I mean, for those who've never been there before, kind of explain the first time you walked in and saw that exhibit hall. What were your thoughts on that, Justin?
Oh, look, I'm coming from a place where I run a photo booth expo in Australia, and we've got about 130 people come to my expo, and it's a pretty, relatively speaking, we consider it a big enough expo. We've got 20 exhibitors.
Yeah.
So the first time I walked into the trade show hall at PBX, and we're talking like 100 exhibitors, I just was like blown away. It took my show, and then just was like somebody went expand, a bit like the Big Bang Theory, and it's just the most amazing thing. I liken it to, if anyone's ever been to Turkey and been to the Grand Bazaar, that is a place where, as far as the eye can see, there are stall after stall after stall. Well, this is the Grand Bazaar of the photo booth industry. So, you'll be with wide eyes, jaw agape, reaching into your pocket thinking, am I buying this, am I buying that? It's too exciting.
It is, yeah. There's the opportunity to learn about the craft and to see all the newest and hottest items that are going to be available for the upcoming season. This is the place to be for that, for surely. And it's a eye-opening experience.
Absolutely. And as you said, it's the cutting edge trends and technologies are always at PBX. The things that I've seen there, you can pretty well time it that it's going to be 2 years before it really hits industries like the Australian industry, for instance. When the iPads came in, it basically was a good 2 years, and then suddenly that became the on point trend down in Australia. So if you want to be on top of things, you come to PBX and you'll see it. Have your eyes open and start be at the front of the wave instead of following it. So
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a neat experience. We're going to be in the show tonight. We're going to kind of go look at some of the ways, for those of you who can't make it to Photo Booth Expo, ways you can still get some of the content from the show, and we'll be talking about that in just a little bit. Before we get to that, Justin, I really want to kind of compare and contrast a little bit, since you run a show in Australia and you had been to photo booth. Let's look at the average photo booth owners in the two countries. Are there some differences in their thought process, or how they run the business, or how they work, or is it pretty consistent?
From what I understand of the US market, I would imagine it's pretty similar to the Australian market, in the sense that I think I did a survey a couple of years back through a website, and we surveyed about 100 photo booth operators around Australia, and we got a sense that overwhelmingly most of them were mum, dads, or young people who were starting a side hustle. Mostly one of them worked full-time, the other one maybe either did work full-time or work part-time, and often they had little kids at home, and they were looking for a flexible source of income which allowed them to still take care of the kids or their own other needs that they've got. And that's certainly the feeling that I've taken away from all my visits to the US, that you've got a lot of people that are in the same boat. They're not looking to be the next big brand or anything. They just are looking for a flexible source of income that is fun, and feels like it's something that's engaging to them, and that they can enjoy doing whilst living the lifestyle that they want as well.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest surprise. When the very first time I went to Photo Booth Expo, is the mom and dad, the mom and pop shops. They're just so prevalent, and not only were they prevalent in the attendees, but they were prevalent with many of the exhibitors also. Different people who have created things to sell.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the biggest strengths, I think, of the industry, is that that we some people will say, oh, there's such a low barrier to entry, and that causes its own set of problems, and we won't go into that right now. But I think because of that, we have been able to create a community of mums and dads, mums and pops, who can help and support each other, and live their best life thanks to this amazing industry that we're all part of. You couldn't do that in a lot of other sectors of work. You simply wouldn't be able to do it. We've got such a flexible source of income with this. You get out what you put into it. If you only want a little bit, you only have to put in a little bit to get that out of it. And I love that about our industry.
Yeah, that is a neat aspect of it. You can get in and make some money to supplement that income in the household, and get out as much really as you want to put in time-wise.
Absolutely.
You mentioned, of course, earlier the tablet booths, when they started to come on, and that was some of the new things you saw up here kind of first. Let's looking at the gear and such, are the tablet booths and the selfie booths, is that something that's really coming on or playing a role in your market down there, or is that something that's not there yet, or have you guys already gotten past that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been a mainstay for at least the past 12 to 24 months now, the iPad booths or tablet booths, right, of the varying degrees. Prior to that, I think the previous biggest wave was when enclosed booths turned into open booths. I think it's all pushed towards allowing mums and ladies, and maybe people who aren't necessarily able to lift heavy items, the ability to get that into the back of their car, rather than, I started in the industry, it's 10, 11 years ago now. And when I started, digital center photo booths weighing at 180 kilograms, which is, I think, like 350 pounds or something. Yeah, that was the only choice you had. So, I certainly couldn't have allowed my wife to help me with the business. It was, really, I was the muscle, as well as doing a lot of the other stuff, and you didn't have a choice. But now we do. And I think that's because, a lot of ladies and men don't want to be forced into lifting heavy items. It's dangerous.
That, and then trying to get a vehicle that can handle something.
Then you've got to get a trailer or a van, and it becomes limiting.
Oh, very much so. For those, we go down to Minneapolis and we do events downtown Minneapolis at times. Parking and trying to find ways around on these little narrow one-way streets, and if you leave a vehicle, is it going to be in one piece when I come back down to get? There's all these little things that the smaller, quick in, quick out is really, really appealing in this day and age.
Absolutely, and I can only imagine, at least here in Australia, having trailers and stuff it was a pain, but it wasn't too inhibitive. But for countries in Europe or places, big cities in the US and other parts of the world where, like you said, you've got narrow streets, you've got limited parking, you couldn't really run a photo booth business very well until the last years with the open booths and the tablet booths. So it certainly opened the market up to the whole world.
Yeah, that it has. Let's kind of jump into your website, boothcontent.com. And for those of you watching, that link is in the description below, as is the link for Photo Booth Expo. You can click on that and check on this year's show coming up here February 24th through the 27th. If you're watching this after the show, you can click on that link anyway, because then you'll be able to find information on the 2021 show, which will be absolutely fabulous at the South Point Casino also. Dates will be announced at the 2020 show. So, Justin, tell us a little bit about boothcontent.com. What's involved with the website, and what are people going to see when they go there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take it back a step. So from with my show, BoothCon, we've always filmed all the seminars and the masterclasses, because there's always been that demand from people who either couldn't make the show or who had been at the show but didn't trust their own notes and their own memories to remember all the amazing content that they received. So they wanted to obviously touch that content again later in time down the track. So for the first 3 years of the show, I filmed all the videos and all the seminars and masterclasses, and then I made them available via download, which worked well. We had quite a lot of people who would do that, but it's time consuming for the consumer. You've got to pay for it, download it, and that in itself, we're talking a lot of gigs, I should say, of video files. Can take a long time, and then you've got to store it on a computer on a hard drive, which doesn't make it so great to access later. It's not instantly there for your needs. Yeah. So this year we decided, well, let's up the game and let's stream it. The time is right that someone needs to start a streaming service. So initially we were just working on BoothCon becoming the content streaming service for BoothCon. Mm-hmm. But over the years, I've had such a great relationship with the PBX guys, with Bob and Rob, and I was sort of telling the guys about that, and we basically realized together, well, why don't we take care of it for PBX as well, because there's a huge market for PBX. So sure. We've basically expanded the service to the PBX market as well, and right now, there's all 3 years of BoothCon on the website. I'm just about to load up this year's worth of BoothCon content as well. So we had some amazing guys come down to Australia from North America and from Europe. Catalina Block was down there this year. We also had David Miller from LA Photo Party came down, which was amazing. Nice. Yeah. In addition to some of our local talent like Steve Bleasner from the Photo Booth guys, and he's a Breeze ambassador. So we've got some amazing talent down here, but it's now going to be supplemented by the fact that I'm coming over to PBX this year, and my team is going to film all the content there from the seminars, and that's going to be on the website as well. And people will be able to jump on the Booth Content website. We don't want to make it just a paid service, so there's a lot of free content there. Yourself, PBN TV is involved in this as well, which I'm really excited to have you guys partner with us for some free content, some other third-party free content that we've sourced as well. And then for those of you that want to access the actual expo content, whether it be BoothCon or Photo Booth Expo, there will be the ability to purchase individual videos, packaged up videos, so you can get all the years worth of BoothCon or all the years worth of PBX. Mm-hmm. And then finally, if you decide you really love the service and you want to keep getting new content, where you can register for the all access pass and basically pay a small monthly access fee. And then as we load up all the new content throughout the year, and there's plans to get loads and loads of content, you'll just have instant access to all that content as well. So that's certainly the best way to get the most out of the service, I believe. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Now, Justin, is there any kind of a minimum quality machine that I'm going to need to be able to watch these? Can I watch it anywhere or on any device?
Yeah, you can watch it anywhere on any device. We've got the Vimeo service is underpinning the whole website streaming service. So basically, you should be able to access that on your mobile, on your cell phone, you guys call it, on your tablet, or on your PC at home, or Mac. Any internet capable device. Nice. You'll be able to access those videos and stream straight to you, and then you can watch them anytime, sitting at bed, in the middle of the night, can't sleep, you're thinking too much about the highs for the weekend. Well, why don't you learn something about some, digital marketing, for instance? We've got loads of videos on digital marketing. So, we're trying to make it as easy as we can for everybody everywhere to access the amazing content that is filmed at PBX and BoothCon, and then we've got some exciting plans to bring on hopefully some more of the World Expos throughout the year and into the coming periods. So yeah,
excellent.
Stay tuned. It's getting really exciting.
Excellent. So as someone who produces a show, you have the content out there and such. What types of content has really been kind of hitting home with your viewers that they really appreciate, whether it's live or on video?
Funnily enough, I think whilst everyone initially would say they want to learn, some hardcore details, instructional videos, how to operate certain softwares or seeing certain products in action, for instance, from the stage, what's really resonated with people is a lot of the inspirational talks. So when people get up there and they talk about their real experiences as just a fellow human being running a photo booth business, that seems to resonate really well with people and seems to be a prime source of motivation. So this year, for instance, we had Mia Hoskin, who will be the first to tell you she's just a normal boother like everybody.
Right.
She quite shy. Getting up on stage is not her usual thing, but she did it. She got up on stage and she gave a really emotive, heartfelt talk about her photo booth journey, and that resonated with a lot of people. We got a lot of great feedback on that particular talk, and people just said they loved how real she was, how she spoke from the heart. There wasn't like some all-encompassing how to operate a certain thing, but it hit people in the heart and reminded people why we all do this. That it's fun and it brings the fun and allows us to have that flexible lifestyle. So people really resonated with that.
Excellent. Yeah, I've found similar things, that the ones that they'll learn the software, they'll learn the sales techniques, but the life lesson that they'll pick up is the part that will be with them for years. There's people who flash back to our 2006 show that we did in Minneapolis, and I'll see them talk about an aspect of that online. It'll be like, oh yeah, I know where they got that from, and they'll say, hey, I heard this. What is that? 14 years ago, and it still hits home for them. So
absolutely. And we had one of our speakers, he did it for the second year. He was also from New Zealand, like Mia, which is Dion. He came up and did a haka and kicked everybody off with this amazing haka style. Had everyone's up and clapping, and people love that stuff. Being involved in the actual talk itself. So I think you're right. That stuff will be the stuff they talk about in years to come, more than the hardcore content.
Let's talk a little bit here before we wrap up about the event that you're doing now, your photo booth show down in Australia. And the reason why we're going to talk about this, most of you are from the United States or Canada that are watching this, but if you want to go and take a trip to Australia, going to the convention makes that trip, and especially United States, a tax write-off. Well, we don't give tax advice here, but
absolutely not.
If you were thinking that. So Justin, tell us a little bit about the show. When do you guys do it? Where do you do it? And what's the details?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're exactly right. There's a double bonus for you guys coming from the States or from Canada, which is that the Australian dollar is worth very little compared to your dollars.
Oh, no.
So what that means is, and Ryan Salinas from Superbooth always loves this. He basically calls it his personal 30% off discount on everything he does when he comes to Australia, because you're basically at the current exchange rate, for every dollar that you exchange into an Australian dollar, you get another 30 cents to spend. And the prices are quite comparable here. So if a can of Coke is $1.50 in the States, it's also about $1.50 here.
Sure.
But the difference is you're only paying $1.20 for it.
Because of the exchange difference.
Absolutely. So, and then in regards to the show itself, so we are a much smaller show, 130 to 150 people. It's a traveling show as well. Every year we've moved it around because Australia is as big as the US. Newsflash here to everyone who doesn't know their geography. Australia is as big as the US, in terms of landmass. However, we only have 25 million people. So we've got a very disparate population. We're all around the outside of the country. There's not many habitable places in the middle. So we all live around the outside. And so to reach the main markets here in Australia, I've always moved it from Brisbane, which is sort of up in the top half of the country, down to Sydney, which is more in the southern end of our east coast, and then also Melbourne, which is in the southern end of the country as well. So we've always moved it around, which gives it a new and exciting feel every year. as well as the fact that we have a really amazing community down here. I'm so proud of our community, and that's what all the guys that come from overseas say about attending the show or exhibiting at the show, is the sense of community that we've been able to foster is something that they haven't experienced at other shows.
Sure.
And that comes with having only 130 to 150 people.
Yes.
That's not a criticism of PBX, which has 4,000. It's very hard to foster a sense of community when you have that many people. There are little communities within the PBX crowd, absolutely. But as far as the show goes, I think that's one of our greatest strengths, is that everybody's in it together. The exhibitors and the attendees and the presenters, we all sort of mingle together throughout the show, and there's a lot of networking that happens, and it feels very community-like. So if you're looking for something a little bit different to PBX or anything else that's out there, and also getting a great holiday thrown in the mix that the tax department will pay you a little bit for, then come down to BoothCon. We would normally run in January of every year, and we have done for the first 4 years, but we're actually going to change it up next year. It'll be in the middle of the year, so I actually haven't confirmed the dates, but it'll probably be in July of 2021, and it will definitely be in Sydney. So if you've never been to Australia, Sydney is the city you want to visit anyway. That's the number one destination as far as our cities go. So it's a really great time to be considering coming down under and checking out BoothCon and Australia as well.
Yeah, website when that information is out there where they could check it out, what would that be?
So that's boothcon.com.au. Okay. And we've got a newsletter there as well. So if you want to jump on and register for the newsletter now, that will keep you up to date with the latest information. And my first priority when I get back from PBX after filming and getting all the content on Booth Content and getting all that sorted will be locking in a venue and some dates for BoothCon 21. So hopefully by April to May, I should know more details, so you can expect an announcement then.
Excellent. I think I've got that. Put that link in the description below. For those of you watching the video, if you want to go check that out, you can go click on that link and check that out. Or you can go out to boothcontent.com and kind of see what the whole schedule, or as far as the process with getting a hold of some of the content to help you grow your photo booth business.
Wonderful.
Great stuff. We are 2 weeks, well, not quite 2 weeks away anymore. What thing are you looking forward to at this year's show before we wrap up? I kind of like to hear this from different people who have been there before, because it's like everyone's got a different thing when they go to Vegas and what they're looking forward to.
Yeah, I'll split this into two parts. So I'll take this from a business point of view. From a business point of view, I'm really excited about Booth Content, filming it, and just mucking down with my videography team and getting that content produced and created. And that's quite exciting for me on the business side. On a personal side, I just love catching up with all those amazing people that every year I get to meet, a new bunch of people, and also get to catch up with the old bunch of people that I've known after the previous 3 times in Vegas. So I just love catching up with people and shooting the shit, and having a good chin wag in regards to everyone's experiences over the last 12 months since I've last seen them. So that's the thing I enjoy the most is having a beer and catching up with everybody. Yeah,
it really becomes kind of that family reunion. Even though there's 4,000 people there, as you say, you still end up finding those friends. You just, through the halls, you eventually will run into the crew, and it's like, hey, let's go down and have a drink and talk. And this year we're going to have some different networking spaces so that people can get together just a little bit easier. So it should be a great time for kind of revisiting those friendships that we made over the years.
Definitely, John. And I think that's, people often ask me, why should I come to BoothCon or PBX? Why should I go to any show when I can access the content via other means, or I could, do my own education, through other means? And it's like, well, yeah, that's important, but you will not get the networking and the socializing aspect and that support if you don't get out and meet people. And, I think that's one of those things where you don't understand the value of it until you've actually experienced it for yourself. And I implore anyone who's on the fence thinking about whether or not to attend any of the shows that are out there, whether it is PBX or PBNY or BoothCon or Booth Summit, whatever else is going on, that that alone is worth the price of entry. Everything else is a bonus. The content, what you're going to learn, but that networking and socializing, it's really huge. Amazing value.
Yeah, that it is. So, Justin, we're going to wrap things up. Again, the website links, boothcontent.com is out there, and then boothcon.com.au, right?
That's it. You got it.
Perfect. So I've got them right. But those links are in the description below. You guys can go check those out. Otherwise, go out to photoboothexpo.com. You can check out the educational content, the schedules. It's up, the description of who's going to be speaking. Oh, there's going to be a lot of great stuff at this year's show.
Absolutely.
Justin, thanks for being on with me tonight. I appreciate your time, and I will see you in just under 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.